Welcome to Uncurated Conversations with me, your host, Mlamli Mayosi. My guest today is Laura Strugnell. Laura is an artistic swimming athlete who represented South Africa at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics with her duet partner, Clarissa Johnston. In this episode, Laura and I discuss where it all began and also the journey to the Olympics and life after the Olympics. The rest, I'll leave it to Laura. Laura Strugnell.
You know, what makes a good coach is when you do what's best for the athletes and you don't think about consequences and stuff.
Your own personal consequences, right?
And so, you know, when you realize a coach really cares about you when they do what's best for you. And she spoke out for us, and I mean, we didn't ask her to. She did it regardless of what it might do to her career as a coach, or how she would be seen to other people. And, you know, for me, that was like, I hadn't experienced that kind of, you know, I know that Vicky and Reem would probably do exactly the same, but Cece, she doesn't care, like what people think, and, you know, what she does,
what's best for you.
Yes, and yeah, like she just, it was a very selfless thing, you know, when she spoke out for us. And it's really not known in the synchro world that you speak up against the federation.
Wow.
It's you don't. People don't, because they're afraid.
Wow.
And she did, and she, you know, she spoke out on social media, and she stood up for us. And she stood up for herself.
Being disqualified for Olympics?
No, before that, just like how we were being treated, and you know, what they were doing to us, and yeah, just like coaches taking credit for stuff they don't.
They shouldn't be taking credit for.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, stuff that the federation's doing that people should know about.
Right.
And that you get threatened if you talk about it.
On swim day. Take me there to swim day.
Oh, swim day. So
competing day now, yeah.
Yeah, the Olympics, like there was only 22 duets that compete in Olympics all that time. I mean, we just had to swim how we had been training and just be connected. That was really important. So being on the same level, on the same connection, like really just feeling like connected, and keeping your head clear of trying to think too far ahead, and just think in the moment, because I'm typical, like I rush things. So if I start to think ahead, then like I'd start to rush it and whatever. It's just like being in the moment and just trying to do what you've been training to do.
So when you're going up on those steps, and then it's like, so what's going on in your mind right now?
So we were really nervous before, like really, really nervous.
Okay.
And then they came to us and they were like, when you walk out, you're going to wave to the camera and to like the crowd back home, and then you're going to start. So that was like kind of odd to us, because when at a World Champs or whatever, the camera's right there in your face, but you don't acknowledge it. You just kind of go. They wanted us to like wave and be whatever. And so we were like, okay. And then we walk out and Clarissa like grabs my hand, and Clarissa's not very emotional. Like she doesn't like hug and stuff.
Okay.
She doesn't like hugging.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, she grabs my hand and like we connect, and we walk out, and she's like, I'm like, okay, we're doing this waving thing. She's like so calm and so chilled and whatever, and she's like waving to everyone. And then, you know, I think we were like the first duet to actually like be like happy. We're here, like we're swimming. We're finally gonna swim. We're gonna be Olympians. And then you stand, get ready, and the nerves just go away, and it's just like
another training routine.
Time. Like you just, I control my focus. I control what I need to do. If I focus on something else, I'm not going to be able to do what I'm doing. So I tell myself all the time, like I control my focus. And that's it. And then you almost just swim, I can't even remember how I feel because I don't remember. Like you finish the swim and you're like, I don't even remember the whole thing. It goes so quickly and you don't remember it. So you just let the muscle memory take over and you don't try.
And are you, but I'm assuming though, you get to that stage when you've trusted the process and you've trusted that everything you've done before all those long hours, as you say, you just close your eyes and then you just like, let's go.
Yeah. And you don't try, because as soon as you try, you make a mess. You mess up. So you just let it flow, like you just go. And you trust the muscle memory. So what we practice is over and over and over again, the same thing for hours, over and over and over to increase the muscle memory.
Reinforce that movement, that memory.
Yeah. And so when you swim and that music comes on, the muscle memory, it just kicks in and you just do it. And it's like the moment you try to think, it goes wrong. So you don't.
Wow.
You don't think. You just think about, like Reem gave us moments. Of like, this is your moment here, this is your moment here, this is the moment, and you need to show me those moments. Like you need to really be in the moment. So we had like little cones, she called them cones, and we had to get to the cone, each cone in each routine. So all you think about is like, I got to get to this cone, and once I've got to that cone, I got to get to the next cone, and the next cone, and the next cone. So that really helped me because I overthink and like jump and like rush.
Right.
And when I try too hard, it doesn't work for me. So just allowing it to be in the moment, get to the cone, in the moment, get to the cone. I've got 5 cones to get to, and then I'm done.
Right.
Like, and then we're finished.
Right.
Yeah.
You do the swim. What is the score?
So our score was 72. And we were aiming for 7. So like in the last decade when they had updated the new rules, and so since I'd been swimming, we hadn't reached 7.
Okay.
7 out of 10.
Right.
So we wanted or 72 out of 100. We wanted to get 7. So we got 72.
Wow.
So
you
achieved
reached a
our
goal.
goal. We did think that we would get a slightly higher score. We actually initially we wanted 7, and then we were trying to get 75, but because of like all the challenges before we left, it just wasn't, there just wasn't enough time to practice, so we didn't get our 75. And I think that inside of me, that was like, okay, I had a taste of really good improvement, and like I could do better.
Okay, so there was still a gap in the tank. You
Yeah,
thought,
I wasn't like, okay, cool, I've achieved it and I'm done. There was still a part of me that was like, okay, but if we had a little bit more time, we could have gotten better, you know. I think it was different for Clarissa. I think she was like, okay, we've achieved the goal. I'm done.
So after the Olympics, she basically retired and done. And
she was done. But she was always, that was her thing from the beginning. Like, I'm going to come back for Olympics and then I'm done.
Right.
So that was the, her expectation. She wanted to do that and then she was done after that.
Wow. A year, maybe 14 months prior to that, she was living her life.
Yeah,
hadn't swam for 6
right?
years.
Like, didn't.
And carrying on. And then a year later, she is literally on the world stage.
Yeah. I think
did
it's
you guys reflect on
surreal,
that at all?
So surreal. Yeah, we do every now and then. We chat about it, or a memory pops up, or there's things that we'll never forget. Like the journey just was so life changing. And there were so many things that we laugh about now that we're like so serious in the moment, you know, and also so ridiculous at the same time that we laugh about, and like that sort of, I think, changed us as people. You have to dig so deep. There were days like you really just have to dig so deep.
What does digging deep mean? Like for you, what does that mean? Like take me.
You just and you're relying on the other person to pull you through, and like sometimes, and having to being honest enough to be like, I can't today. I don't know if I can do it today, and then like, can you help? Can you pull me through with your partner or whatever? So like, there's this special bond that you create with your partner that only you guys know, not even the coaches understand, because it's like you can look at each other and exactly, there's no words said, but exactly what's going through the mind, that you're both thinking the same thing, and you're both thinking, it's okay, you can do it, you did it yesterday, you can do it again today. And you get to training, I don't know how I'm going to finish this, I don't know how I'm going to do it, I don't know how I'm going to make it through, my body's so tired, I'm so sore. And then you make it to the end of training and you're like, okay, I made it. So it's like, it's just finding a way to sort of like constantly talk to yourself.
How do you develop that relationship with your duet partner? Because that sounds to me quite intimate.
Yeah, it is.
And that cannot just be built in the pool,
no,
right?
I mean, well, Clarissa and I like knew each other, but we weren't like that. It took a long time for us to get that way, and we're such different people. So it was even longer. With Jess and I, we click. We're similar people, so it was a lot easier in terms of like that connection. It was there straight away. So with Clarissa and I, we both were closed. It took a long time to open up, peel the layers in order to get to that. But because you go through so much and you spend every day together and so many hours, it happens. Like you just end up being close.
Have you been in situations where you and your partner just were oil and water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It works a lot easier if you get along with the person so well. Like, it works a lot easier. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's like a marriage.
I was going to that. It's like, that's something that intimacy is that you guys, well, if you look at it in the pool, the very nature of synchronized, you guys have to be in sync.
Yeah, you have to. Everything has to be the same. People like laugh at us because we wear the same clothes and we do the same things and everything's the same. But behind it, it's like you have to be the same. You're like two people, but you're one.
So coming back to what you were saying earlier on, that when you have to connect.
If you're fighting.
Yeah.
Or if you're angry or irritated with each other, it shows straight away.
Right.
In the water. Like the coaches can tell straight away.
Okay. But you said something quite interesting earlier on, that you climb the steps, then you got to connect together.
Yeah.
What is there something physically that you guys do, or is it something that you can emotionally?
Like holding hands and like just that little squeeze. Like, we've got this. We came this far. There's no words. It's just you feel it. So, like, And I think with like when I see the teams and stuff, they have it as well. There's 8 of them, but they have it, all of them. You know, what you go through to get to where you end up at the end.
Yes.
Nobody understands. Like there's no videos that can show it and explain it even. Some of the times where, you know, your partner's crying because it's so hard for them that day, and you're never really having the same day.
Right.
You're not both crying the same day. So one is always picking up the other one.
Right.
Always.
Right.
Like it's very rare that you both having a good day and you're both having a bad day.
Right.
So I guess that's like, and being able to trust that person fully, that they have your back and you have their back.
That takes time.
It
takes time.
A lot of time. And and just being like, if you have issues
Right.
yourself, it becomes even harder.
And as you said earlier on, those issues come out at those times, and then you've got to address them
So much, you know, like a lot of it came out. A lot of Clarissa's issues, a lot of my issues, a lot of Jess's issues. It all comes out. Whether or not you acknowledge it on
Right.
depends.
Right.
But
So you had still something in the tank after Olympics.
I did and I didn't. So like I came home. I didn't really know what to do with myself. It's like this, you chasing this high, really high, and you've got something to work towards every day, and then now you come home, now you have nothing. You just nothing. And then like,
How psychologically, where are you at that stage where you say you've for the last couple of years or couple of months you've had a focus, a goal. Now that goal has been accomplished. Now we come home, and you haven't planned for post Olympics.
no, and you just, you kind of like feel a little bit like in limbo. Like you don't really know. It takes like a few weeks to really understand like what is actually happening. Because when you come back, then you're like sort of recovering and you're sleeping and catching up with people and so on. And then when all of that dies, then you're like, okay, now really what? You know? And if you don't have anything lined up for afterwards, it's really hard. And when we came back, we had like from our own, like the synchro community in South Africa, no one acknowledged us. No one appreciated the hard work that we put in for South Africa, and getting us to that stage and getting South Africa recognized. Because when I go to World Champs, they know who we are, who I am, and so forth. Like, whereas before I'd been to 8, and nobody knew who I was. Not that it's a thing, but the synchro community is not that big.
Right.
Now I have friends. They say hello, like we connect, we chat, we talk about things. You know, I went to 8, and I didn't know anybody.
Wow.
And when we worked hard, we worked with Reem, we posted a lot. Social media did so much for us as well. We invested a lot into social media, showing our journey, showing the road to get there, what we did, and then being there and then actually like connecting with some of the people. When I went to the next World Champs, I knew them. We said hello, like we made new friends and stuff like that. So it's, you know, and then the Synchro South Africa doesn't understand that is important for the sport.
To grow the sport, yes.
It's important to be acknowledged, the country, to be, that's South Africa's here, cool, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's important for the next generation. They don't realize that.
Is there
It's
next
like a
generation coming up, though?
Not, I mean, there is potential,
Okay.
but
Is it been harnessed? Is it being...
no, they've chased all the coaches they've chased us away.
They, as in this federation.
Yeah, the federation, the people involved in the federation, suing Synchro South Africa.
No, Laura, but you are saying the truth, and I think that if someone has got a counter argument to that, okay, then they must bring their counter argument. You know. So the truth is the truth.
Literally chased us away. I don't want to help them anymore. Initially, I wanted to do it for Synchro South Africa and do it again, and then bring back what I know and bring it into the sport and help the next generation. But they don't want that.
But what you're doing, though, I think with the two girls that you just took now overseas, I think that is an opportunity there for you to make change, and I think through starting that small little journey.
Yeah.
Then some people then will either come on board with that, or then, but at least those two girls at least are coming into an environment where at least my coach is here for me.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the thing is, we were just gonna talk about it, and you're gonna ask me about people's judgment.
Yeah. Right. Let's go there.
So these people judge me and think that I don't know what they think, but I can only assume that they judge me and think I think so highly of myself because I've been to the Olympics or because I've done X, Y, Z. But they don't know why I did that. They don't know what I want to do with that knowledge. What I want to do is to grow the sport. What I want to do is to have a future generation that has stuff that I never had the opportunity, and I had to make it my own. I had to do that all on my own, and it took me too long. You know, and I only got it in 2020 when I was 29 years old, and I wanted more of it, but it's too late. Had I got it when I was 16, 17, it's enough time, you can continue. So,
and the sport would have grown in South Africa, because if more and more athletes who've got what you're talking about at that age, there'd be more athletes in the sport, right?
Yeah, so their judgment of us and of me, I don't know what they really think, but I know that they think we think we're too good for them. And it's not like that.
I mean, you guys do coaching clinics out of your own pocket. No one is paying you guys. You guys are doing developmental clinics.
So many times, and all we want is to help and to give knowledge and to grow, and they don't want that because of whatever they think of us. Yeah. Whatever it may be. And because we maybe stole the spot, or we maybe did X, Y, Z, who knows? Whatever their judgment is. And this is like, you know, going to the Olympics, people really, or being an elite athlete, or having muscle, looking the way you do, people judge you. Oh, you're just born like that. No. I worked hard to get to this level, you know. I worked hard to be in the shape that I am. I wasn't always like this. I was actually chubby. You know, like, there's a lot of judgment around it. And, oh, well, you're just good naturally. Or, oh, you know, you had this opportunity. Or you were given, like the rest of the world, you were given the spot. Okay, but we also had to do all this other stuff to get there, you know, like we had to give up our jobs, our coach had to pay for us to live, kinds of things like that. People judge you all the time from the outside, and they don't really know what's happening on the inside. So it's hard. It's hard to be seen as like somebody who's achieving so much, but you give up so much. A lot of crying in this thing. But it's true, like you give up, there's so many things you give up personally in your personal life that you don't get to experience. But I chose that. I chose my sports instead of friends. I chose my sport instead of a relationship. You know, I chose my sport and work instead of my family half the time. You know, it's those things that they don't see. And then when you come back and you don't have your sport anymore, it's like you only have the people that are still there who saw through that, you know, which is a good thing. You don't want superficial people in your life, but you have to build a new life all over again. And I don't regret it or want to go back or anything, because I chose that and I knew very well that that was what I was choosing and that's what I wanted to do. And I know I chose that because I made that decision full well knowing that. It's just hard. And it's hard to be motivated to train with nothing now. Like, you know, you're not an athlete anymore, so how do you just be normal?
Because that's all that you know, right? All your life you've done this.
You have a goal. You have to find how to have different goals and how to be a different person. And so it's a new chapter, and it's hard in a different way, and challenging, and also sometimes exciting, but it's lonely. You know, when you share this journey with a duet partner or a teammate, and now you have to do everything on your own.
Yes.
You know, like you feel a little bit lost, like, okay, like now I have to go through this all alone. Now I have to figure it out on my own. And how do I do that on my own? You know, like, where's this person? Why are they not here? But they're also figuring out their own shit, you know. So it's a different, the judgments and stuff, people don't see it, and especially in our sport, you're made to make everything look perfect.
And pretty, because you guys go there looking all perfect and pretty. And
failure and mistakes, everything, it's built, your sport is built around perfection. And faking it till you make it. And it's all you know. So this is what people see all the time. So it's hard. It is hard, but I'm not afraid to share it. I don't think people talk about it enough.
I think we don't talk about, especially the mental side of a elite athlete. After you say you've achieved this goal that you've been striving for some athletes all their lives.
Yeah.
And now you get to 30, and now what do you do?
Yeah.
Is there mental
And then
support for you?
I think that's why a lot of people go into it again.
Right.
Without thinking about, you know, what does it do to you and what happens when you're not doing it.
But that's the family you know.
Yeah. And
Right.
so you go into it. And so this journey going in, I kind of went in it going to try go for Paris a different way, a different thinking. Why am I doing this? Okay, not for myself anymore, because I need to learn as much as I can as an athlete now, so that I can pass it on when I'm done. And there's so much more to learn, and that's why we brought in, you know, we had another coach, Michelle, who was from Malta, who also is the head coach of the Maltese team. So
this was now in preparation for, because you wanted to go to 2024 Olympics.
Yes,
right.
yes. So we Michelle was helping us, but she couldn't do both.
Right.
And we can't offer her what she gets in Malta.
Because again, you're paying out of your own pocket for
Yeah.
all this training and all the
everything. So she referred us to Chinese coach Cici, and yeah, so she came in, but I had to try and think. I was trying to prepare myself for afterwards. So like in this process, I was thinking of all the things I'm gonna do when I'm done. But I didn't expect it to come so soon. And I wasn't expecting to go through it like now. But I'm not sad. Sometimes I'm relieved.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the training, and I miss the having the motivation to train.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that because I like to train and I love training. So like I don't have the motivation at the moment to train, and that's hard. So I'm training without like the joy of it, or like wanting to do it, or doing it for a purpose. But yeah, like the different coaching styles. Cece was also probably the best coach I've had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all three of them are really good that I've had, but she.
So Cece was going to train you guys for Olympics now.
Yeah.
Where is she from?
She's from China, and
Okay.
she never made it to the national team because, again, their own politics.
Mm-hmm.
But she was in the provincial team, which is, I mean, they train. Since the age of 12, she was in training camp for 365 days of the year. And because of politics, she couldn't get to the national team. So not because she wasn't good enough.
Right.
So her own country's politics.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so she moved to the UK, and then from the UK she came to coach us.
Right. How did that change your whole routine and just your whole...
Oh, it was so great to have... she was so organized and so prepared, and she has this wealth of knowledge, like in so many certification. Her CV is like so good. Like she
Right.
just has so much knowledge, and she doesn't shout. She doesn't sugarcoat things either. And there were some times where it was like the hardest session, and she would be like, I just don't think you guys are trying hard enough. And you're like, oh my God, like if I'm not trying hard, what am I doing? Because she knows she's experienced a way higher level,
Right.
and she's been through it herself,
Right.
of a level that, pushing the limits more and more. She knows what's capable. She was just so good at everything, and she just had a different method, and it's very like the basics and simple, but so effective.
Right.
And you think to yourself, like, why didn't we think of that before?
Right.
And it makes so much sense. And she doesn't show emotion well. Especially in the beginning, you couldn't read her. But once we got to know her more, we could read her. And so I think that is a good quality to have as a coach, because you don't know, like you just don't know. So you push hard. She doesn't get angry. She doesn't get upset. So it's just like, and you're just like, okay, I'll just try harder then. I'll just
Right.
so it's quite neutral. So the emotions aren't there, and she takes the emotion out very quickly. And I found that training with her, we are quite emotional.
Also, having experienced training with her, you found that you are an emotional.
We are quite emotional.
What about you?
In terms of like we're quite dramatic, and for her it's like everything it's business. Like
It's regimental.
she would come to training and say, okay guys, like listen, we can't talk anymore in training. because it's taken up too much time. And we were like, what? Like, we can't have chats. We can't talk. It's too much time. You're wasting too much time. We need to train. We just can't talk. And we were like, oh. Then when Jess and I experienced this with...
Jess is now your partner that you're training, your
Yeah,
duet partner
current
that you're training with for the Olympics.
Yes, new for 2024.
Yeah.
And so we experienced this when we had to swim with the team for Doha. And we had now been accustomed to that. We don't really talk much in training. We train and we do what we need to do. You can talk as much as you want afterwards, it's different vibe, whatever, but when we had training, no
Right.
talk. And then we trained with them, and they wasted half an hour just discussing one thing.
Oh, these are the little girls, the 16.
Well, no, when we were going to Doha and we had to swim in a team.
Oh, okay,
Of
okay,
8 of
right,
us,
right.
yeah.
Oh.
And we were discussing one thing, and Jess and I were just like, okay, let's just do it. Why? We don't need to discuss this for 5 hours. So we understood then that what she was talking about. We didn't know it, and we were like, how can she tell us we can't talk? Until we experienced it, and we realized that we waste so much time as South Africans. We're very social.
Right.
We keep going, and
Yes.
so you waste a lot of time chatting instead of, working. So when she comes with like her being strict, there's a purpose, and she's not being unreasonable.
Okay.
So that was that, and then, as we got to know her and a lot of things happened politically, she was, she spoke out for us.
Again,
when we
politically
couldn't.
within your federation,
Yes.
Swim SA.
And she didn't think, what makes a good coach is when you do what's best for the athletes, and you don't think about consequences and stuff.
Your own personal consequences, right?
And so, when you realize a coach really cares about you when they do what's best for you. And she spoke out for us, and we didn't ask her to. She did it regardless of what it might do to her career as a coach, or how she would be seen to other people. And, for me, that was like, I hadn't experienced that kind of, I know that Vicky and Reem would probably do exactly the same, but Cece, she doesn't care like what people think, and what she does,
What's best for you.
Yes, and like she just it was a very selfless thing, when she spoke out for us. And it's really not known in the synchro world that you speak up against the federation.
Wow.
It's you don't. People
Wow.
don't, because they're afraid.
Wow.
And she did, and she she spoke out on social media, and she stood up for us, and she stood up for herself.
Being disqualified for Olympics.
No, before that, just like how we were being treated, and what they were doing to us, and just like coaches taking credit for stuff they don't.
They shouldn't be taking credit for.
Yeah.
Right.
And stuff that the federation's doing that people should know about.
Right.
And that you get threatened if you talk about it.
Right.
And I'm a free agent, so I can talk about it since the 1st of May.
Oh, that's good. So Laura, we're gonna do part 2, but to end off now, no Olympics for you.
No, sadly not.
Sadly, you could have qualified. Let it be put out there. But sadly, no, we can get to that on round 2 if people want to know the story.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. But the future now is coaching for you.
Yeah.
Coaching and giving back to those 16, 18-year-old kids, your experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my little ones. I have little
And
ones.
you got little ones?
I have 9, 10 little ones.
Oh, lovely.
And they love it.
Okay.
And they're so sweet. They look like they're drowning, but they're so sweet.
Okay.
But yes, yeah, I mean, I think so. I'm still nervous to fully go into it because I know it takes a lot from you
Sure.
as a person. And I've given a lot. So I don't know how much I'm going to be involved in terms of like having a full-on club. But I think definitely giving back or doing lessons or clinics and stuff like that.
Yes.
A lot of. And then, well, just take it as it comes.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm not 100% sure how much yet.
Okay.
I do know that I want to go and work overseas with some international clubs or whatever because I still feel like I have so much to learn.
Sure.
So I do want to do that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Laura.
Thanks for having me and all my tears.
No, that was beautiful. Thank you for just being vulnerable. Thank you for being vulnerable. I really do appreciate that because I think that your story resonates with me. I mean, there's parts in your story that, I think that was quite clearly evident. But I believe that your story will resonate to a lot of young girls, and not only girls, but I think your story, needing someone to be there in your most vulnerable moments, needing that friend, needing that mother figure when you're most vulnerable by that pool, I think was your coaches, Vicky, Cici and Reem. I think those were the people in your life that were really those people, and I think that a lot of people in South Africa and all over the world, I think, are in a similar position where the people that are close to them might not necessarily be your own family, blood family, but other people. You know? And I think that it's important to acknowledge that. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's been emotional, but that's how. When you talk about someone's life, I think that's what it is. Life is not just linear. It's not just a series of events on a straight line. There's a lot of offshoots that bring in emotion and all those type of things. So
You
thank
can
you.
keep the crying out of mine. Don't
Thanks,
cut it
Matt.
out.